So we've been talking about how the Cowboys have been a mess since like the middle of this NFL season. And my thing about the Cowboys has always been Jerry Jones just doesn't know what he's doing. And not only does he not know what he's doing, he doesn't want advice on how to make the situation any better at all. He doesn't care. Him and Mike McCarthy can't come to a deal. So they can't come into an agreement on what they should be paying Mike McCarthy. Now, my thing about that was I felt like Mike earned his job because with basically all backups in and your star quarterback out, no running game, your defense has like 2 players on there that are actually making noise. He actually ended up rallying a couple of wins that were pretty impressive towards the end of the year. And they figured out that they had a few players on the roster that were worth playing for, or that, that were actually like way better than anticipated. Now they let Mike McCarthy walk, and I was on record saying I didn't know this is a bad idea because, we can quibble about whether or not they should have kept Mike McCarthy or how you feel about that. But my issue was they didn't have a contingency plan for him. They just let him walk as like some sort of like macho man business decision. Now, I don't know who this Schottenheimer guy is. He's his father is a legendary NFL coach, right? But what are we doing? You're going to make this guy who is more of an analytic dude, who was the quarterback's coach, he was the offensive coordinator who's never coordinated a team before. You're going to promote him. You're not even going to consider any of the options that are out there. Say what you want about the Cowboys. There are a lot of people that would want to play for that team or that would want to coach for that team. It's Texas. There's a lot of cool shit in Texas, and especially if you're rich. So I didn't really understand what it's like. He didn't even try. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? You didn't want to see, you didn't want to go take a gander, take a look out there, see what's going on, something. There were coaches out there that you could have interviewed. You didn't interview anybody. You didn't interview anyone, not one. Instead, you promote the guy who's never been put in a position like this before. You have holes all over your roster. You don't have an identity on offense. You don't have an identity on defense besides Micah Parsons. Everybody is well aware that Jerry Jones is losing his mind. And on top of all of that, you still don't have an idea of where the franchise is going as a whole. You have 2 teams in your division, the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're both in the NFC Championship game. Not to mention the New York Giants are a lot better on paper than we would like to give them credit. This is not good. How many times have we been talking about the Cowboys this year just sputtering out of control? They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue. And it bothers me because, again, it has everything to do with who we're blaming for this. There's no GM. There's no general manager for the Cowboys. We are blaming Jerry Jones. And it really is like he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He does not care about what's going on here. He could give a fuck less, to be honest with you, because if he actually cared, he would have put somebody in there that knew what they were doing. Now, look, this Schottenheimer guy can actually come out and he can be the head coach for the Cowboys and absolutely start destroying. But what's the likelihood of that? How many times have we seen this story before where we put someone in there, we give somebody the job, and it turns out they can't do the job. You end up firing them maybe in like a year later, and then you're doing this musical chair shit all over again. So then it's like a twofold thing, because now the Cowboys are already in a situation where everybody knows. It doesn't look like, we all know they don't know what they're doing because Jerry Jones isn't a general manager. He's an owner. Throw money at the problem. Let the GM handle all that shit. So we already know they're lost at sea. We know that. And now you put someone with no experience as a head coach, doesn't even really have experience as a coordinator, this is just bad. Just bad. It's bad business. It's bad football. It's bad thinking. It's not thinking ahead clear enough. It's not caring about your organization. The Cowboys, bro, America's team, all that cute shit, out of the window. They're cooked. You guys are fried. You guys are fried. If After this season, there's probably going to be or after like the 2026 season, I'm predicting there's most likely going to be a fire sale. There are going to be players that are just going to look to move. They're going to want to trade guys. They fucked up their cap situation. It's not working anymore. They failed to draft good players. The players that are good that are on the roster have to suffer because Jerry Jones he's a moron. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know how a Cowboys fan can have faith in this guy, have faith in this franchise anymore. I don't know how you can do it. It has to be pure delusion at this point. You know what I mean? For God's sakes, like when the 49ers were bad for 2 years, when Kyle Shanahan first got there, it made sense. The blueprint was on the wall. They had him, the good coordinator. They had the type of players that they wanted. They had a culture, and then they just drafted guys and then brought guys in through free agency, and everything worked itself out. And then everything started to make sense. What are they doing?
I won't let anyone in. You'll never see me.